I promised Joby when I picked up the cup from Kith and Kin, to see the condensation?
Mm-hmm.
That's what dribbled on my pants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I promise you that's what that is. How you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Good. I missed you last week. We had the 4th of July holiday.
Right. And so I'm assuming that it was just recorded stuff.
The Hugh Hewitt segment that we did on there.
Yep.
But I understand you got to go. I don't know if you got to go, but there was a fishing tournament this past week.
Had two tournaments down at Brantley, 2 team tournaments. As everybody might remember, we're split all of our tournaments this year into 2 one-day tournaments over the same weekend. And I did fish Saturday, did not fish Sunday. But yeah, 2 good tournaments at Brantley. The water level has been dropping, and then we got rain, as you know, the last 3 weeks, and the level has risen, and it I don't know how many feet, but probably several feet. So I don't know if that means that they've shut off the dam or if it's just enough water was coming down that it was more than what was leaving the lake. But in any case, the level was up. There was a lot of traffic down there, lots of boats, lots of jet skis, a lot of people on the lake, and which is pretty standard for us during the summer months, any year at Brantley. But we had a good tournament and good turnout. We had 7 boats on Saturday, only 4 on Sunday. Several of us couldn't fish on Sunday, including me and my partner, which was Jeff, my brother. But these were team tournaments, and I think Jeffrey's got the stuff. We'll pull it up on Facebook for those watching online.
Here you go.
So on 7-9, which was Saturday, you can see there the 7 teams, and then down below the results, the final results. Jerry Houghtaling and Kelly Whitehead, that's my dad, and Kelly Whitehead won the tournament. They beat Jeff and I by 0.3 pounds. So it was close.
Yeah.
Chris True and Jeff Heath came in third with 13 pounds even, so just right under a pound below my dad and Kelly. And then Mark Williver and Lex Klein with 12.5 pounds got 4th. Bobby and Bobby Jr. Castaneda got 5th. And David Watkins, Jed Singletary 6th, with David and Lisa Rutherford coming in 7th. And David and Lisa, I think David was sick. I think they got off the lake early. He didn't feel well, but he is our tournament director, and he stayed around and ended up doing all the weigh-in and everything. And then we had that 4.2 pounder caught, was the big bass by Bobby Castaneda, and that's the younger Bobby, and we'll see a picture here in just a minute of him with that big bass. Good bass there at Brantley.
It's amazing how close first to second to third is.
Yeah, very, very close. And I had a really nice bass get off right at the boat. You can go ahead, Jeff, back to that picture. I had a really nice one that just kills you when you see them and then they get off. And
I heard Big Billy Kinder tell a story.
Okay.
He does an outdoor show that we carry on the weekends.
Okay.
And it was he said the guy that told the story said that he's seen it 3 times and done it twice himself. One of those storytellers. He claims that he saw one fish caught by 2 fishermen on the same boat at the same time. They both get a bite. And they both start reeling in it, and it's the same fish. Have you ever encountered anything like that?
I have never even heard of something happening like that. I will say, and I'll tell this story now before we move through the pictures, Jeff and I were fishing together, team tournament, and and we got to a new spot. He said, I asked him where you want to go next, and he said, well, let's go around to this spot. And so we went around there, and I believe it was our first cast. It was either the first or second cast, and he cast one way up and with a topwater lure up into some stick-ups, and I cast opposite from him down the bank over towards a point. And I'm fishing with what's called a shaky head, which is fishing on the bottom with the plastic, with a Senko style plastic, and Jeff is fishing with a topwater called a Pop R. There's lots of different versions of both of those things, and almost at the same time, he gets blown up. The topwater gets blown up. He catches the fish, and I feel the tick, 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 and I catch a fish. And I think his was first by 1 second, something like that.
But it was like right at the same time.
Basically the same time. And I think he said, I got one. And I said, So do I. And he goes, get the net. And I said, you get the net. And we're both reeling them in. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to swing mine in because a shaky head is one hook. And when you get those hooked well, which I didn't know if I had him hooked well, but you can generally swing them in even if they're big fish, which we hadn't been catching any 7, 8, 9, 10 pounders. So I said, I'll swing mine in. You and I'll try to get in before you. We're talking while this is going. We're both we're both fighting fish. They both come up and jumped and everything. And anyway, I swung mine in and put him down in the bottom of the boat and jumped and grabbed the net as soon I swung mine in, and then right then Jeff had that fish ready, and I pulled him in. Because with a topwater treble hook, you would think, I always would think, well, if you got 3 hooks, or there's actually 6, 2 trebles. But they can shake those things off easier than they can a single hook that goes into them. They don't usually get hooked as well. The trebles are smaller, even on a big treble hook. They're just smaller than a shaky head hook. And so in any case, not the same story, but kind of like it. We caught 2 at one time, and that's always fun. And that happens from time to time. We got both fish in. They both would have culled our smallest fish, but mine was a little smaller than his, and so we kept his. We threw mine back and then threw our small fish in the boat. We already had a limit when that happened. But so we can go back to those pictures, Jeff, if you're ready.
Sorry about that. I just
no, that's a good
heard
story,
that
though.
Saturday morning.
I've never even heard of that happening.
Yeah.
So that was the winning team on day 1. That's Jerry on the left and Kelly on the right, and they had a good bag of fish. You can see all 5 of theirs, just under a 3-pound average.
Okay. We'll go to the next picture.
And something that I never talk about much, but Striker brand, and you can see it there on my boat up on the windshield, and it was on the others too. Striker Striker brand is a apparel line that we are a Striker brand club, and so I have never mentioned that on here. I needed to, but this next picture is Jeff on the left there, and I'm on the right. That's my brother Jeff, and we had a good bag as well. And like I said, we were 0.3 pounds. And the fish that got off, I was going to say that I had one that fooled me. We were at a spot that we had watched guys fish at 4 different boats. This spot, it's well known on the lake to be a good spot to catch fish, and all morning it was loaded with a boat. And finally, there was nobody on it, and we went over there, and I hadn't thrown 2 or 3 casts, and I get a bite, and I know it's a bite, and I set the hook, but I don't set it real strong because I thought maybe it was coming through brush or something. And then it was like, he said, do I need to get the net? And I said, I don't think so. I think it's swimming at me, or it's a real small one, and I'm reeling it. And right when it started to come up, it was about the size of any one of those, the bigger ones that you see there in the picture for those online. It was a 3-pounder around. And right when it come up, it turned, and I realized it was a nice fish. It wasn't a little one. It was just swimming towards me. And I said, no, get the net. So Jeff set his stuff down and stumbled and tried to get the net out and was just about to get down in the water. And I had pulled that fish up, and I could see it well, and it was a 3-pounder or more, and it came off right before he got the net in the water.
Yeah.
And that fish we would have beat my dad and Kelly if I would have. I think it was over 3 pounds. Anyway, so that was a good bag there for us. We got second.
Okay. Next picture.
That is Bobby Jr. He won Big Bass with a 4.2 pounder, and that's the one on the right. And Carl's bad guys, and we won't blame. I won't hold that against him. You can see he's got a Carlsbad cap on. He's a youngster. I think he's going to be a sophomore in high school. Fishes with his dad. They joined our club. They're new members to our club this year, and he caught that one. Really nice bass there. Got the big bass for the day.
Okay, next picture.
And that is Jeff Heath on the left and Chris True on the right. They also with a 5-fish limit bag, and they ended up getting third. They were just 0.9 pounds behind my dad and Kelly, and 0.6, so just over a half pound behind me and Jeff.
Wow.
Nice bag for those guys.
Okay, next picture.
That's Lex Klein on the left and Mark Williver on the right. They also with a 5-fish limit. Theirs were just a little smaller. You can see, you can kind of, if you look back, they had a couple of 14 inches where all of ours were 16 plus. So you can that's where the difference is on some of these fish, and that's how we beat Chris and Jeff. Jeff, my brother, and I beat Chris True and Jeff Heath. They had a 14 incher. We didn't. All of ours were kind of clones, and that half a pound was a 0.6 pounds. But anyway, Mark and Lex there had a good day.
Okay, so we'll go to the next picture then.
And that's the Castanedas, and they had 4 fish. They had one get off. They had they only had 4, so they didn't have a full bag. But Junior caught Bobby, the younger, caught the big bass of the day, and you can see that there in the picture. So a nice bag for those guys. They ended up getting 5th.
Okay, we'll go to the next picture then.
David Watkins and Jed Singletary. They only ended up catching 2 on the day, but that's their 2, and they joined our club I think 2 years ago, so they've been fishing with us. They're out of Lee County.
Okay.
Good guys. They got 6th.
All right. Do you have another one there,
One
Jeff?
more picture, and that's David Rutherford, and he and Lisa. Lisa, they're the weigh-in. He's the tournament director, and so she keeps the running totals for him. And I should have told her to get over in the picture with him, and I didn't. But that's David. And again, he was not feeling well. They came off the lake pretty early, so they only caught the 1. It was an over 2-pounder.
All right. So let's go to day 2, right?
Yep.
All right.
Day 2. I'll walk through these a little quicker.
All right. Yeah, because we got about
We'll run out of time.
4 minutes here. So yeah. So Jeffrey's going to load up day number 2. We're talking with Joby Houghtaling. Pecos Valley Bassmasters. There are 2 team tournaments, the Saturday tournament and the Sunday tournament. When you're ready, Jeffrey, here's the Sunday.
Okay, so yep, July 10th. 4 teams, 4 of the 7 that fished on Friday, and you can see Jerry and Kelly won again, and this time 17.7 pounds. So they increased by over 3 pounds, almost 3.5 pound average, which is good on any lake, but definitely great on Brantley. Bobby and Bobby Jr. won 2nd. Chris True and Jeff Heath come in 3rd, and David and Lisa rounded out. Bobby Sr. Caught the big bass on day 2, so the Castanedas had the big bass each day. You can go into the next picture.
Okay.
And that's Jerry and Kelly. Kelly on the left, Jerry on the right, and that's their limit. And you can see those fish, just good-looking fish, over a 3-pound, almost 3.5 pound average for the day, and they won first.
Yeah, nice-looking group. Yeah, we'll go to the next picture. There it is.
And that's Bobby Castaneda, and I don't know, I only got a picture of 3 of his fish. He had 5, and Bobby Jr., his son, wasn't able to fish Sunday, so he fished by himself, came in 2nd, and then that one in his left hand was the big bass for those of you watching.
That's pretty good-sized fish again.
Nice fish, and
Yeah.
so he won big bass on day 2. His son won it day 1. So next picture. And then Bobby got 2nd yesterday.
Uh-huh.
That's Chris True on the left, Jeff Heath on the right. They again had a limit, but a smaller limit. You can see those fish. You can tell the difference in size. All legal, but just smaller. But a nice limit for those guys.
Okay.
They got 3rd. And then our last picture is going to be David and Lisa, and they ended up catching 2 on Sunday. Nice looking fish for them. And again, we try to get and I'm glad I finally remember, trying to get our Striker brand in all of our pictures, as we're a Striker brand club, the only one in New Mexico. And there's a reason. We like their stuff, and then they sponsor our Angler of the Year gets a really nice gift from them at the end of the year.
Excellent.
And that's all of our pictures, and that was our 2 tournaments for the weekend.
All right, and maybe next week we'll look at the standings.
Yeah, I need to get those updated. I don't have them on the website yet, but I will plan to this week and see where everybody stands.
All right, and when's your next tournament?
Our next tournament is the last weekend of this month. We're going to be at Fort Phantom Hill on Saturday and Sunday. They're individual tournaments, and there's 2 of them, so Saturday tournament and Sunday tournament. Fort Phantom Hill, I think it's the 30th and 31st, or the 29th, 30th, whatever the last weekend of this month is.
30th and
the 31st,
yeah.
So the 30th, 31st of July. Anybody that wants to fish, you can still join the club if you're not a member. Hopefully we have a big turnout over there at Fort Phantom Hill.
That is fantastic. Joby, thanks as always for coming in and bringing us all this great information. Plus, it's Kith and Kin Day, so there's probably still a couple sandwiches left in there.
Awesome.
And thanks to Rob and the crew for providing us with some of these Lotus energy drinks. I've been enjoying the Jack Sparrow all morning. That's what this is, the Jack Sparrow. And if you want a really delicious gourmet breakfast sandwich, a great cup of coffee, or now one of these Lotus energy drinks, movie themed, you can get them today at Kith and Kin. Thank you so much. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. This is